Is the Sonic series basically just Dragon Ball Z? No, but there are a lot of interesting similarities between them. Take Goku and Sonic for example. They're both the spiky-haired main characters of their respective shows. They both go around searching for 7 mystical artifacts. They both have a super form where their hair goes gold, and they both love facing challenging opponents. And even if those opponents have committed heinous crimes, they're both willing to give their foes another chance. I think this most famously happens on Namek when Goku saves the tyrant Frieza. Keep in mind, Frieza has committed genocide, he beat up Goku's son, and killed Goku's best friend. But despite all that, Goku gave Frieza multiple chances to live, even giving Frieza a bit of his own energy when it looked like Frieza was going to die. Goku is a really nice guy at heart, even to a fault. Sonic is quite similar in that way. In the first arc of the IDW comics, the evil inventor Dr. Eggman lost his memories, leading to him becoming a completely different person named Mr. Tinker, a good, well-meaning guy who only wished to use his genius to build fun toys and perform repairs to help out a small town. For all intents and purposes, the person that was the evil Dr. Eggman no longer existed, and instead he was the kind Mr. Tinker. This caused a bit of tension amongst the Sonic heroes, as they didn't really know what to do with Eggman. I mean, they could just lock him up and throw away the key, but there is a moral dilemma here. Is it justified to punish someone for something that they have no memory of doing? Is it right to charge Mr. Tinker for the crimes that Dr. Eggman did? Sonic opted to say, no, it isn't right, and he decided to let the past be the past and give Eggman another chance. Shadow, on the other hand, said, yo, miss me with all that, Eggman gotta die. I think the easiest character to choose as a parallel to Shadow is Vegeta. They're both the rival of the main character, they both have edgy, serious personalities, and they both were once villains who eventually became one of the good guys. Hilariously enough, Sonic Team veteran Takashi Iizuka did an interview with Catherine Lewis from Gamesradar in 2024, and supposedly in this interview, Iizuka tried to set the record straight by saying that Shadow is nothing like Vegeta. What makes this even funnier is that if you look at some early concept art for Shadow, you'll see in this little character keyword section, one of the notes that was written down in Japanese was Vegeta's name. Sonic Team, come on. We know what the deal is, okay? Now, I want to be clear, I'm not saying that Shadow and Vegeta, Sonic and Goku, or any of the other characters I'll be talking about today are one-to-one the same as one another. I'm not saying that they're exact copies or anything like that, just that there are some similarities that I think are interesting. But that's enough about Vegeta. Let's talk about Vegeta's wife, Tails. Yeah, I think Tails is probably the closest parallel to Bulma from Dragon Ball. Obviously, there are some strange implications, but like I said before, not a one-to-one comparison. Don't be weird about it. Anyways, yeah, both Tails and Bulma are genius inventors, they're both good friends with the main character, and they're both the first friend of the main character. Now, I know that Sonic CD is set before Sonic 2, so technically Sonic knew Amy before Tails, but at least from my interpretation, Sonic and Amy weren't really friends yet. Amy was just a fangirl of Sonic at that point. Another character that comes to mind when talking about which Dragon Ball character Tails would be is Krillin. Both Tails and Krillin are the best friend of the main character of their respective series, and if you look into both of their backstories, they were both bullied as kids. Bulma and Krillin are both decent picks for Tails, so I don't know, I'll leave it up to you all to decide. I already brought up Amy, so I guess we should get to her DBZ comparison next. This one is definitely one of the easier ones. Chi-Chi is for sure Amy's parallel. They're both in love with the main character of their series, and they both have a pretty bad temper. Speaking of bad tempers, let's move on to Knuckles. Knuckles is another character that's pretty easy to find a DBZ counterpart for. The obvious answer is Piccolo. They both have a connection to the 7 artifacts of their world. Piccolo's other half Kami created the 7 Dragon Balls, and Knuckles is the guardian of the Master Emerald, which can neutralize the 7 Chaos Emeralds. Both of them are the strong, silent type who often spend time on their own. Both of them are from an ancient race that's shrouded in mystery. and both of them were antagonists who fought against the good guys before eventually joining them. But that's enough about the good guys, let's talk about the bad guys, namely Dr. Eggman. The best DBZ comp is probably Dr. Gero. It's a little weird since Dr. Gero isn't really a major villain, but he is very important by proxy as he started the creation of the androids, which have served as impactful villains throughout every single era of Dragon Ball. In this video, I'm only going to be using characters from the original Dragon Ball manga, not GT, not Super, not the movies, etc. But even just going by the original manga, Dr. Gero left a big imprint on the series with his inventions, which is very similar to Dr. Eggman with all of the different robots and creations that he's made. Even design-wise, Dr. Gero and Dr. Eggman have one big similarity, that being their very pronounced mustaches. But let's actually get into some of their inventions. Arguably, Dr. Eggman's most iconic invention is Metal Sonic, and I think the closest DBZ parallel to Metal Sonic is Cell. Both Metal Sonic and Cell have data from the heroes of their series, allowing them to copy their moves. For example, Cell can use Goku's Kamehameha, and Metal Sonic can use Shadow's Chaos Control. Both Metal Sonic and Cell have a rivalry with the main character of their series. Another pretty interesting parallel is that Metal Sonic's first game was Sonic CD, and Cell first debuted in the Android Saga. Both Sonic CD and the Android Saga have time travel as a central concept. But with Metal Sonic out of the way, let's take a look at another one of Eggman's inventions, E102 Gamma from Sonic Adventure. Gamma's Dragon Ball counterpart is probably Android 8 from the OG Dragon Ball. Both Gamma and Ader were created by the villains of the series to be tools of destruction, but they both ended up having kind hearts and joining the good guys. The next Eggman robot that we'll be talking about is Omega from Sonic Heroes, and I think his best DBZ comp is Android 18. They're both created by their series' respective doctors, and they both have a dislike for their doctors, causing them to rebel against their creators, and they both end up joining the good guys. Our last Eggman creation is Sage from Sonic Frontiers. I think Sage's closest DBZ parallel is Android 16. Like Android 16, Sage seems really robotic, cold, and evil at first, but over time, we see both of them open up and become gentle and sweet. Like with a lot of the other creations of both of the series' villains, both Sage and Android 16 end up working alongside the good guys at some point. Also, interestingly, both Sage and Android 16 have special father-child connections to their creators. Eggman views Sage as his daughter, and Android 16 was based on Dr. Gero's late son. Speaking of sons, let's talk about Vegeta's son, Future Trunks. Trunks' obvious Sonic counterpart is Silver. They're both the same race as the main character, they both come from a post-apocalyptic future, and they both go back in time to make a better future. Silver is good friends with Blaze the Cat, which is why I think that Blaze's DBZ counterpart is Gohan, specifically Future Gohan. Like Future Gohan and Future Trunks are from the future, Blaze and Silver are also from the future. Future Gohan is a mentor to Future Trunks, the same way that Blaze is a mentor to Silver, at least back in Sonic 06. Also, both Future Gohan and Blaze, well, die. Blaze thankfully comes back, but Future Gohan wasn't so lucky. One cool thing that I noticed is that Gohan is like a blend of Goku and Piccolo. Gohan is Goku's son, so he's a Saiyan, and he can use the Kamehameha. However, Gohan was also trained by Piccolo, so he knows some of Piccolo's techniques, and in many of Gohan's appearances throughout the show, Gohan wears Piccolo's outfit. Why am I bringing this all up? Well, think about it. Blaze is Future Gohan, right? Sonic is Goku, and Knuckles is Piccolo. Just like Gohan is a blend of Goku and Piccolo, Blaze is kind of a blend of Sonic and Knuckles. Blaze is really fast like Sonic, and she has fire powers like Knuckles. Not only that, but Blaze is kind of like her universe's version of Sonic, given that her arch nemesis is Eggman Nega, like Sonic's nemesis is Eggman. And just like how Knuckles takes his position as the protector of the Master Emerald very seriously, Blaze takes her position as the protector of the Soul Emeralds very seriously. This one is a bit of a stretch, I know, but the parallels between Gohan and Blaze run deeper than you may have originally thought. But enough about Gohan, let's talk about Gohan's little brother, Goten. Honestly, Goten doesn't really have a great Sonic counterpart, so I'm just gonna say his counterpart is Cream. This seems weird, but keep in mind, Cream is frequently paired off with Cheese, which is why I'm gonna say that Cheese is Kid Trunks' Sonic counterpart. Goten and Kid Trunks are always together just like Cream and Cheese. Cream is also a little kid like Goten. Cheese's age is unknown, but I don't know, Chow act like little kids, so I think that fits Kid Trunks as well. Sonic is kind of like a mentor to Cream as well, so I think that works since Goku is a mentor to Goten too. Admittedly, these two are probably my worst parallels, but I wanted to at least try to get most of the major characters from both Sonic and Dragon Ball accounted for. Another character that was hard to find a parallel for is Big the Cat. Eventually, I settled on Majin Buu, because they're both kinda airheaded, they both have pets that they love, and they're both pretty big and round. We've got Buu and Cell out of the way, so let's get the last of the big DBZ villains out of the way, Frieza. Frieza's Sonic counterpart is Zavok. Both Zavok and Frieza are evil masterminds who have no problem using cheap shots and trickery to achieve their goals. Both Zavok and Frieza are aliens. Kinda. We know that Frieza is an alien, but Zavok is from the Lost Hex, which is like a floating mass in the sky of Sonic's world. Whether it's a planet or not is up for debate, but I consider it a planet, so I'm gonna say that Zavok is an alien. And finally, both Zavok and Frieza command a team of 5 other fighters. Zavok leads the 5 other members of the Deadly Six, and Frieza controls the 5 members of the Ginyu Force. If it wasn't obvious already, yeah, the other 5 Deadly Six members are the Ginyu Force parallels. Zaz is Raccoon because they're both wild and dumb, Xena is Jace because they both have long hair, Zor is Guldo because they're both short and kinda pathetic, Master Zik is Captain Ginyu because they're both the brains of their respective teams, and Zamam is Birder because they're both the biggest members of their respective teams. Speaking of teams, let's talk about Team Chaotix, Espio, Vector, and Charmy. I think the best Dragon Ball Z comparison for these 3 is the Earthling side character trio of Tien, Yamcha, and Chaozu. Espio is Tien because they're both bald, they both have the serious stoic thing going on, and they're both rivals of the main character. It's easy to forget that Tien was once a rival of Goku, but it was a thing back in the original Dragon Ball. As for Espio, I put rivals in massive quotes, because Sonic and Espio's rivalry, as far as I know, was only ever pushed in the Sonic Racing Crossroads competition trailer. Vector is Yamcha because they're both pretty goofy and chill, and Charmy is Chaozu because they're both tiny and they both can fly. I know, most Dragon Ball Z characters can fly, but I don't know, whenever I picture Chaozu in my mind, he's never standing on the ground, he's always in the air somewhere. Speaking of flying characters, our last character of the day is Rouge the Bat. Her Dragon Ball Z counterpart is Launch. It took me a while to figure this one out because just like the series itself, I forgot Launch existed. But yeah, both Launch and Rouge are femme fatale characters who are well-known thieves. But there you have it. That is my list of the major Sonic characters and all of their DBZ counterparts. Obviously, this list is far from perfect. While I did get basically all of the major Sonic characters, I did not do so for DBZ. I wanted to get most of the major DBZ characters accounted for, but I couldn't find any Sonic characters that fit Android 17, Master Roshi, or regular Gohan. I could have used Master Zik for Master Roshi, but that would have thrown off the whole Frieza plus the Ginyu Force pairing with the Deadly Six. I couldn't find a match for the regular present-day Gohan, but I did manage to somewhat remedy that by using future Gohan instead. If you have any way to improve my list, please feel free to let me know in the comments. In any case, I think that's about it for this video. If you're interested in watching more videos where I talk about stuff, here's a video you might enjoy, and here's a whole playlist of Sonic videos for you to check out if you're looking for something to marathon, or to just have something to listen to as background noise. That's all I've got to talk about for today though, so thanks for watching y'all, and have a great rest of your day.